get live. Let's get live. Let's get live. A surprise live stream today, y'all. What is up? It is Tuesday. I am fresh off work and I've been watching this Joe Rogan Spotify COVID vaccine situation unfold for the last couple days. And I've been sitting back and I'm just absorbing it. And as always, you guys know I have kind of a unique take on things. So I wanted to sit back, absorb it, and make sure I was fully grasping what was going on before I came to you guys as students and as pre-meds and talk to you about the learning point for you guys and learning points for society as a whole and how we need to learn from the situation and what we really should be focused on in the situation that everybody's missing. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to hit the intro right now and we're going to get at it. What are your guys' thoughts on Joe Rogan, Spotify? What should they do? Oh my gosh, we're going to lose like Neil Diamond, Neil Young, one of these two. What are we doing, y'all? What I teach you guys is transformation. If you didn't dominate, changes need to be made. So I give you guys entire systems that make you new. But stop making excuses, stop whining, stop, right? Get at it. No excuses, just dominate. All right, we are back. We are live action. Got two streams going right now. As you guys know, this is the Study Doc Show. I'm Dr. Andre Pinesett, and we are live action right now, okay? Going out to you across the interwebs, but then also you guys know you can catch the podcast afterward. I'm going to be uploading these episodes now every week onto the podcast. So if you guys are in your car or you wherever, and you just want to hear this voice, these sultry sounds of Dr. Pinesett come through to you, then you can catch me on the podcast. Siva, what up? Yeah, I missed you last week. I know I got busy. It was my last week, y'all, for forever in the hospital. I've now left the hospital anesthesia game for a while, so I will no longer be anesthesializing in the hospital. I will be outpatient. So I'm very excited about that transition. It gives me more time to focus on you guys as students and as pre-meds. And so if you guys have been watching this Joe Rogan stuff unfold, let me recap you. Joe Rogan has a show called Joe Rogan Experience. It's a podcast. And on this podcast, he brings on guests and they talk about strange stuff for hours and hours and hours. And it's actually kind of interesting content, right? And so he has this program. And one of the things that keeps coming up on his podcast, why? Because it's on top of all of our minds, is COVID, is vaccinations, is treatments. And his stance is controversial when it comes to COVID in the sense that he is kind of on the map of COVID is not something I really need to worry about. He's also on the map of COVID vaccinations. I wouldn't do that. He's also on the ivermectin, alternative treatment pathway, monoclonal antibodies, so forth, all that stuff, right? That's his train of thought, which is controversial and is different from a lot of doctors are preaching and talking about and saying, listen, get your vaccines. Hey, stay away from the ivermectin. Hey, COVID is something to worry about. We need to mask up and so forth. And so these two sides have collided. And now a bunch of musicians are saying, hey, listen, Spotify, you pay Joe Rogan 7 figures, right, to do his podcast. You're paying this man to spread misinformation about COVID and vaccines, and it's hurting people. Stop it right now. You got to take him off the air. You got to censor him, and all those kind of things. And while everybody's arguing whether it's free speech, whether they should censor him, if Joe Rogan's right or if he's wrong, we're missing the bigger picture. And it's one of the reasons for me that social media and the internet is an amazing tool because it's allowed us to have all this information at our fingertips. But one of the problems with the internet, one of the problems with social media that's causing a lot of us to be less successful than we could be is that there's so much misinformation. There's so much incomplete information. And the internet makes it very difficult to distinguish who you should listen to and who you should not listen to. And so the bigger issue here, should Joe Rogan be able to say whatever he wants? Yes. Because as Joe Rogan clearly says over and over and over and over again, hey, y'all, this is my opinion. This is what I have read. This is what I believe. This show is here for entertainment. Listen up, get some information, an alternate viewpoint. I'm not a doctor. Don't listen to me. And I actually saw Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle live action in Las Vegas maybe 4 months ago. So in the heat of this pandemic, I saw Joe Rogan and Chappelle in Las Vegas, and he came out on stage, and the first thing he said was, wow, never did I think that a comedian would be leading the COVID discussion in this country. And he's like, I am a comedian. Why are you guys listening to me? That's the first thing he said. And then he proceeded for an hour to bash the COVID vaccine and masked, right? But the point and the premise here is that you guys don't get this. His show was entertainment. He's able to say whatever he wants. He should say, hey, listen, you guys should all drink bleach. Who cares? Because you shouldn't be listening to a comedian about your COVID plans. But our society, y'all, is so upside down where you literally, there are people out there who say, oh no, Joe Rogan said it. I'm going to believe Joe Rogan. Forget what all the scientists are saying. Forget what the data says, the hard data. Joe Rogan, he's got an insider. There's something about Joe Rogan that makes me feel like he's got an inner scientist inside. I was just watching, I don't know if you guys, I have kids. I was just watching Ada Twist, Scientist. Have you guys seen this? I love the show because, right, I'm obviously black, so my kids are black. And so it's a little black scientist girl, and she does like little science stuff. It's awesome. And it talks about how like we all have scientists inside of us. And then sometimes I was like watching the video with my kids, I was like, holy smokes, this is kind of what's happening in this world, is that everybody's an expert. Everybody's got something to say, and everybody listens to these characters like, oh, that's what's it. And it's the same thing that happens to you guys, right? In a more specific scope. For you guys as students in pre-meds, is there's a lot of people out here who are talking about, oh yeah, you should do this, and this is what you should do, and they want to offer advice, and they got a platform and social media, and everybody's like, it's egalitarian. Everybody's out here got voices. But there's a lot of voices out here y'all should not be listening to because they're poisoning your opportunities to be successful. Does that make sense? And so we have to be very clear and very careful and get back to a place in this earth, in this world, where we look at people's experience. We look at people's credentials. Degrees should still matter, right? That should matter. Experience doing research should matter. Hard data should matter, shouldn't it? Who else can we trust but the scientists? They're the objective ones, right? Data is data. Shouldn't we believe the scientists? And I just think it's interesting because it points out the problem we have in society where Joe Rogan's voice is equal to a scientist. Joe Rogan's voice is equal to a doctor's, despite the fact that he has no degrees. They have degrees. They study this stuff, and we put them on equal levels. He's changing people's ideas about the COVID vaccination. Think about that. Think about where we are in society where a comedian is driving. He's the number one COVID headline of a week. Imagine that, right? Gnev says, as a high school senior, talking about med school application, interview at Einstein, congratulations, right? But think about that, y'all. And exactly, right? And Annie just said it. Our society worships celebrities, right? Depressing. I think we have a credibility gap. And that's what's so frustrating to me. You guys see me go through spells. Someone said they missed me last week going live. If you guys don't know, we're live action right now on YouTube. We are live action. The Study Doc is my channel. Lots of great student and pre-med videos. I saw someone just ask a question about what they can do as a high school senior to get ready for medical school application. I actually have a video that's called, hey, what you can do in high school to prepare for medical school and pre-med and get there. So check that video out. But we're talking about this larger problem, guys, of not understanding who's credible and who's not. And I find it so interesting. And one of the most painful things to me is when students are passionate about something. How many of you guys are passionate students? How many of you guys want to be doctors? How many of you guys want to graduate? How many of you guys want A's? It's so sad to me when people who are passionate about something, who need something, who have something in their heart that tells them they have to do something, are out here relying on the wrong people for their advice. And I get a lot of students who come up to me and say, hey, listen, you know what? I was listening to so-and-so. I'm like, why would you ever do this? They explain the situation to me. Why would you ever do this? Like, oh, well, I was listening to my counselor. Oh, you know, that's like the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, I saw this video. Oh, even worst case scenario, I saw this Reddit thread. Oh, I saw this SDN thread. I saw this. Like, you cannot listen to anonymous people. And I'm talking about comedians. And I went to a comedy show last week in downtown San Diego. I live in San Diego. And the comedian had an interesting take that I thought is important for you guys. Is that you guys, we have to understand this internet, right? And I see that now I'm on TikTok, right? And on TikTok, people like leave these comments and people are like, I thought YouTube and other social media was bad in terms of people making racist comments, people making discriminatory comments, people making crazy out of their, I don't even know what comments, but they feel even more anonymous in TikTok. So it goes crazy. But it's just interesting. He was talking about how there's zero accountability in social media and on the internet. There's a sense of no accountability. I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And there's no accountability for that. And for a lot of people, right, this is what happens is that for you guys as students and as pre-meds, you're trying to get somewhere. And it's serious to you. It's a real world thing, right? It's not metaverse. This is a real world thing. You're trying to become a doctor. You're trying to get A's. This is your life hanging in the balance. And you have people out there who want sponsorships, who want, right, that money in their pocket from some advertiser paying them for your eyeballs. And so they will put out any kind of garbage or crap that turns your real life into a joke, all for sponsorship dollars. And there's zero accountability for that. In fact, we reward that behavior, right? Empty TikToks, empty Instagram, empty short form content. We reward these people with likes, with follows. Oh, that's cute. You were dancing? Oh my gosh, you were dancing. I just ignored the fact that you gave me terrible advice. Oh, I'm going to follow your advice because you were dancing. It's a terrible situation we're in, guys. And so I encourage all of you guys to recognize this is a moment. This is an opportunity. Forget free speech versus whatever. Joe Rogan should be able to say whatever he wants on his podcast. More power to him for saying it so convincingly that people are like, oh, I'm with that, when the data says the exact opposite. But whatever that is, right? That's not the argument. The more important thing is it should be an opportunity for you to recognize, like, wait a minute. Whoa. We have a comedian battling with PhDs, MDs, scholars, people on the ground, as someone in the hospital intubating these patients, right? As an anesthesiologist, I intubate these patients in the ICU. As someone on that side, how can Joe Rogan's word and my word be the same? When you're on social media, how can someone's future doctor or whatever, how can someone's word be the same as Dr. Pinesett, real world expert, voice B? And so I encourage all of you guys to be critical, to challenge things, to form your own opinions, but use valid sources, right? You shouldn't be forming your opinion based on other people's opinions. You should be forming your opinion based on facts, because it's factual whether you get accepted or don't get accepted to medical school. It's factual whether you have the study skills to succeed or not. And the nightmare, as Julian just said, right, our living nightmare is that we percolate in this world not knowing what to believe, who to believe. And for a lot of students, it's paralyzing, it's crippling, right? How many of you guys feel so, I should go this way, I'm being told I should go this way, I should go all these different directions. You can't find your one true north, and so you're just like spinning around in circles, spinning your wheels. And we have study coaching in 30 minutes right now. My study coaching, my 5 pillars of studying less to get better grades, coaching students. We have coaching in 30 minutes. And one of the things that we continue to talk about on coaching are people's successes. And one of the key things, and I want you guys to take away from this, one of the key triggers of success, of great outcomes, is certainty. Is a confidence that, okay, I have this plan and this plan will work for me. In our society, a lot of people are in emotional storms, depression, anxiety, all these things are at all-time highs because we're in constant emotional turmoil where we can't have self-esteem. We can't have confidence in ourselves because we have so much noise in our life that just, it's waves hitting each other. And so it puts us in a position where we're constantly confused. We're constantly, right, doubting ourselves, doubting our actions. And so we don't take action, we procrastinate. Or we take action, but it's the wrong action. Or we take the right action, but it doesn't work immediately, so we pivot and we do something else, right? And so for all of you guys, recognize this. The way to get out of this storm, and this is what my students are talking about, they get out of this storm is they have one voice in their head, mine. It's expert, it's proven. We lay down the plan and then we move on that plan together in confidence, in certainty, so they can feel good about their journey, knowing they're going to be successful. And they succeed and like, oh wow, it's no surprise. I knew I was going to succeed because I had a path. And for all of you guys out here, this is the key takeaway. Who are your sources? Who are you listening to? Are they credible? Should you be listening to them? And then once you commit and you say, okay, these are the key mentors and coaches I have in my life. I vetted them. They're credible. I got it. The next step is now I got to get a concrete plan in. I got to have concrete information, not opinions, facts, and I got to work it. And I got to commit to it. And I got to stay dedicated to it. And as a society as a whole, I think that's why we're kind of crumbling is there's too many differing voices. There's too many differing voices. And there's room for conversation. I think that's where expertise, where credibility shines its light. Because anyone can have a tweet. Anyone can have a 5-second TikTok and say whatever. But when you have a discussion of the nuances of whoever's quote unquote expertise, you start to see the difference. And I think we've lost that in society where we can't have a discussion. It's cancel culture. Oh, you said something that's different from me? We should cancel Joe Rogan. Cancel Joe Rogan for what? The guy is entertaining people, giving people something to distract them. Why would we cancel Joe Rogan? Because he wants us, like, who cares? Everyone is entitled to entertain, to give their opinion, all these things. We have to be able to dialogue. We have to be able to have a conversation about, you know what, that's your viewpoint? Well, here's my viewpoint. Well, now let's get past our viewpoint to the facts of the situation. And one of the reasons, again, why I kind of, on social media, people don't like me and they want to cancel me is because I talk facts. I can't be like, oh, it's all lollipops and gumdrops and you know what? You just keep believing and you're going to get there. That's not realistic. The real is you have to get to work. The real is you have to have a plan. The real is you have to fight through adversity. This ain't easy. It's a hard road to be successful, to get the A's, to get into medical school. You think getting into Stanford's easy? If it was easy, everyone would do it, but they don't because it's hard, it's difficult, strenuous. Recognize that. My journey was not easy. Your journey shouldn't be easy. It could be easier, right? It could be, but it's not going to be smooth sailing for anybody. And we have to recognize that. And we have to change that perspective and recognize that real expertise, real knowledge comes from work, comes from studying, comes from building that scholar inside you, building that little mini scholar inside you, that little scientist, not just from saying you're a scientist. Yes, yes? Because some of y'all out here like, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. Cool. But where's the work? Where's the plan? Where's the strategy? Where's the execution? You can't click your heels. This ain't, I was talking about Ada Twist earlier. This ain't no kid's fairy tale. You can't just click your heels and magically you're successful. Where is your freaking work? Where is your due diligence to say, no, I'm going to go beyond this. I'm going to go to the extra level, right? And I'm going to get this. So when Dr. P says, you know what? I got a course that lays out exactly how to do this. I got a coaching program that lays out exactly how to do this. I'll support you the whole way there. I'm going to go get that because I want to go the whole way. Hercules said, right? I can go the distance. You want to go the distance. Forget your, you know what I mean? We want to get there. Because what's it all for otherwise, right? People pop up in the box here talking about medical school. What's it all about if we don't get there? And if you want more information, I see someone's asking about information on my courses, my coaching programs, get to my website, thestudydoc.com, thestudydoc.com. Get there. I have the most affordable MCAT program on the planet right now. I just discounted it. Get over to my website. If you guys are ready to get informed, you're ready to have a plan, I have courses covering the entire spectrum of studentdom. Want to learn how to get your mindset right, your studying right, time management right, pre-medding, MCAT, application, interview. I cover the whole spectrum, y'all. So get to my website, thestudydoc.com, and more importantly, dive into my YouTube channel. Go deep on some of my videos. I know my titles are a little more abstract than a lot of channels, but we often go live. And I answer student questions. So if you have a question, something comes up, I'm answering that question because I'm here to help students, right? So that, what's that? Facts? What is that? All right. So everybody have a great day. If this is your first time joining me, right, live on the YouTube channel, please take a second, subscribe, turn on live notifications, right? If you're just finding me over here, we're on TikTok on this side. If you're just finding me, hey, follow me, subscribe, go through my various videos. I know they're longer than what TikTok normally does. Mine are 1 minute to 3 minutes, but I want education. I want information for you guys to get off your butts, get informed, and get to work. Because if we're informed and we're willing to work, we can do anything. But if we're ignorant and we're lazy, we can't get there. If we're ignorant and we're immobilized by uncertainty, by doubt, we can't get there. Got to create confidence, got to create momentum, got to create action. Otherwise, we can't get there, guys. If you're ready for that, like I said, subscribe, turn on live notifications, check me out on YouTube, check me out on the podcast, guys. I'm at TheStudyDoc across social media, and my website is thestudydoc.com. I thank you guys. This is the Study Doc Show. Everybody have a good evening. My study students, I see y'all out here. I'll see you guys in 22 minutes. We'll be live action today for study coaching. We got a good session planned. So everybody have a wonderful evening. I'm out of this. Peace. What I teach you guys is transformation. If you didn't dominate, changes need to be made. So I give you guys entire systems that make you new. But stop making excuses, stop whining, stop, right? Get at it. No excuses, just dominate.